Hey, Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and this video is going to be the first in a series of character design studies. And in each video, I'm going to choose one character, or be that a creature, or a superhero, or monster, or robotic, and it could be anything, and an iconic character or a favorite character of mine, and just try to figure out why it's such a great character, why it attracts people, and why we relate to it or we think it's awesome. So for this first video, I've chosen Pikachu. Pikachu. He is everyone knows Pikachu, and he's very lovable. And I don't think I've ever met anyone who's like, "Hey, Pikachu, he's ugly" or something. So there's got to be something good about his design. And I've lately been practicing my shape drawing by drawing Pokemon because they have very interesting shapes and there's a lot of room for experimentation there. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I want to talk about the evolution of Pikachu a little bit because he has not always remained the same. Here on the left hand side, you can see that Pikachu, well, first off, this is the only known image of a Nephilim Pikachu. Um, Alright, whatever. Um, so he's a lot rounder and kind of more animal-like in this one, and in the beginning he was, and later on you see him evolve. He's more anthropomorphized. He's got seems a little more human. Like you can see the head and the neck differentiation right here, and even these little cheekbones that are popping up here, basically. Um, and yeah, so even his personality has, and it makes sense because he's not, Ash wasn't even just the main character of Pokemon anymore. He was equally the main character. So I guess to relate to him more, maybe the designers or the show producers thought that if you anthropomorphize him, make him more human, then he'd be more relatable. So I don't know. That's just a thought. Oh yeah, and then there's this weird Pikachu. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but I saw this picture when I was looking up photographs to use for this presentation. And I had this Pokemon card. I think this was like the basic Pikachu card that you would find in the like early days in the first gen. And I just, what is this, Gnaw? He just like jumps on you, like just go wild animal. And then I love how it's Thunder Jolt instead of Bolt. So I never really noticed as a kid, but I think that's pretty funny now that I look at it. And it's like, look, the ears are small. It's like the artist didn't had like a vague description or had like seen a picture once and drew it from memory. I don't know, but he's also got that chubbier thing, so it is consistent with this guy right here because he's got that rounder, kind of chubbier and more animal-like appearance. And this is a great graphic. I couldn't find who the original person who put this together was, but apparently it's been around for a while. And it shows here, this is the anime in the beginning. He was more like this. Um, and he's then more anthropomorphized here. He's kind of, this is a video game version, but early on, I think. And you can see it's kind of the same as him, but he's stretching out because he's jumping. So I feel like that's more in line with the rounder, more animal-like appearance. And here he looks cute with a scarf. You know, here definitely you can see the two shapes differentiated. And I kind of don't like this design that much. I think it went too far. This is okay, but I think it went too far here and loses the animal-like cuteness. And then this is just, I don't know, he's cute as a little chibi guy, I guess. This is, I love these guys. This guy has a whole page of them, and hold on, let me make sure you can see his. So if you go to this site and search for Pikachu, scroll down, you'll find he's got a lot of these, even a Batman Pikachu, and I love these because it's a good. He chose a good balance, I think. You can see there's this one big shape right here. Um, Here I'll draw over it. So there's like one big shape, but it can also be subdivided into two smaller shapes, and Alright. I don't know why it's not coming over. Anyways, so you can see then there's a two shapes within that. And here it's like the same thing. And he's also got great line of motion. So see, check out that line of motion right there, and the kind of the form fits around it. And then here we've got, you know, very energetic, and there's even a good rhythm going in there. It's another subject, but yeah, so this is a great place to look for references of Pikachu, and it looks like he just did the exercise of like drawing lots of these guys, you know, in all different positions, and I think that's a great exercise because it's a lot easier than drawing people, but you'll learn a lot of good principles about like posing, and you know, line of action and stuff like that, etc. It's interesting. This one I think is the weakest, not out of these compositions. Not to be mean or anything, but um, but the line of action there, it kind of goes like here or straight up, but then the ears don't follow it. While here everything kind of like flows. This is actually line of action could be thought of as down. See, everything's more down, pointing down, uh, in like down in this direction. See, instead of up. Well, this one's more up. You can see that the ears are pointing up and the foot's pointing up. Here again, up, up. You know, this one could be thought of as down or even like this kind of thing because it's like, oh, he's sad. You know, it's kind of like you're drooping over. But this one didn't really, I don't know. I wasn't feeling good as much. I feel like the lines of action don't flow all the way through. Maybe it's something like that. But then you could have like pushed it more, but I don't know, then the bellies would be out and they wouldn't be kissing. It's a tough one to pull off. I think Pikachu's kissing uh, is awkward in general, so I think he still did a pretty good job. Alright, so I'm going to draw a little Pikachu now and talk about some of the points I thought. I've made a list of things that I thought that made Pikachu a very appealing character. And so I'm just going to use one layer and just a round brush here. The opacity's on for the initial sketch, but after that I'm going to uh, turn it off. But it's very basic. I mean, I'm not doing anything fancy here. So the first thing is these soft round shapes, and I believe that like a lot of things our subconscious picks up, and I think this has been studied and stuff. But our subconscious picks up a lot of stuff, much more than our conscious. So something like it's symbolic. Like if this is a round shape, softness, you know, that's a symbol. We'll associate like tenderness, softness, you know, cuteness, lovableness. He's huggable if these shapes are round. So even the hands, arms are round. And you'll see here, like it's kind of like a round, and then like a little hand sticks off. These guys round, and a little hand sticks off. You know, it's not like a straight sticking out. Yeah, that would be kind of creepy. I mean, I guess I can illustrate that real quick. So let's say on this side, put a little skinny arm. You know, no one wants a Pikachu hugging you with that thing. That's a little bit creepy. Okay, so we can, let me see, make this initial sketch really light. Okay, I mean, rough. And the feet are just little, you know, stubs sticking out. This one he didn't even put the toes on, but usually there's 3 toes, so, you know, just draw 2 lines like that. The easiest way to convey that. And, so yeah, so design. He's very round. Everything's round. Let's just get his ears to fit here. Okay, and soft. And that's contrasted, however, by his tail, which is actually quite the opposite. It's very jagged. Oh, you know what's interesting? How? See, that's the thing. This trail I find a little tricky. It comes down. This one's a little exaggerated. It comes down a lot. But it tends to end with like this kind of point. Yeah. It's good enough. And it's funny because, okay, so technically this should be way back here and hidden behind, right? Because if this connected right here where it does, and I have a little Pikachu, it shows the back of him. Where is he? Oh yeah, this guy right here. See, he's in the middle, whatever, so. So you shouldn't be able to see like any of this basically in this one you see him from the front. But like let's say I'm just drawing him to convey a design, then I want to or you know, for aesthetic purposes or whatever. I'm not trying to make like the most realistic Pikachu ever. Then I can kind of just show the tail, and I think most people won't notice. I don't know. That's just I don't know if that's like great practice or something. So don't quote me on that. But that's what I would do. Because sometimes design trumps realism. You know, you got to, unless you're gonna build this like in 3D, or someone needs to build a real model or show it on an animation where it's moving around. And my Wacom tablet in a really awkward place, so these lines aren't coming out for me. So, yeah. Alright, anyways. So this is contrasted. His round shapes are contrasted by these jagged lines, and this is kind of sharp and pointy. Gives it a more like energetic feel. And contrast is an important thing in any art, and including character design, obviously, and like writing, you know, like anything. Contrast is key. It's really strange. In art school, my art teacher used to always just tell me. She almost didn't tell me anything. We didn't have much direction except more contrast, more contrast. That's what I always heard, and I don't know why I had such trouble with that. It's interesting because the original Pikachu, this little round chubby guy, he is not as energetic. And I guess they might have changed that as a conscious design decision or not. But I kind of liked it because the idea that he's electricity and his color yellow also is very vivid and energetic. Um, Makes him feel like he should be moving around really quickly like this guy and all energetic and hands up and everything. But it was kind of contrasted by this little lethargic. I remember Ash like pulling him along because he didn't even want to move and he didn't want to get a Pokeball. He didn't want to do anything. He was kind of like slothful little creature. So I thought that was kind of cute. I think I tend to I like the original design a little more, but it's cool. And so one thing I also noticed that the eyes are far apart. I always do these, you know, like kind of to try to feel the form because it's good practice, but also it helps with the placement really. So the eyes are kind of wide apart, and I looked up other like cute creatures, and this seems to be, and they also kind of tilt this way. See that way, that way. It kind of goes with the form of the head if you're thinking about it 3D. And then just like a little bloop for the mouth, and then it's a little zigzag right there. I mean for the nose and the zigzag for the mouth. And I don't want his mouth open. I'm cool. I like him with his little smile because probably messed up now. And got two little cheeks. And that's one other thing I think is great about his design is the repetition. He's got repetition and variation. So here, this shape is repeated, and you can also see kind of the eyes. This black is repeated little like you know, little black thrown in there, little pieces, and then the red is kind of echoed by the mouth color when it's open, and also that there's two of them, so the symmetry there is fine. And then the third thing is more apparent on the back, and that is these brownish, like brown colors. So it's got the two stripes, and then on the tail. So it's good. It's like if it wasn't on the tail, it might seem out of place. Like, okay, you just threw it on there. If the tail was there with the brown, but those stripes weren't there, I think that would also feel out of place a little bit. Um, where the black eyes might stand out a little too much without this. So I think it's nicely balanced by these other elements. Oops. Um, and then I think that's mostly it. Those are my ideas of what makes this Pikachu pretty cute. Also, like you gotta have a big head to be cute. It's another thing I got written down here. And oh, another thing I liked about Pikachu, which I thought was interesting, and I didn't expect until I started to study him more in depth, um, is that his little hands like go like this, and then they kind of come in, and then these little fingers come out like that. You know, it's not a perfect continuation like this usually, and it's definitely not the hands getting bigger, which I tried before, and I don't want to redo it. But basically it looks creepy. You can try it. So it's fun to really like draw like three Pikachu's right next to each other. Same, you know, just draw like circle, 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 and then you can flesh them out and stuff. And when you make the hands, try doing weird hands like that. Try making the hands big. Try making them small. Like if I make it big, just to give you, it's kind of like I don't know. It's not appealing. It's like, takes away from the cuteness. You know what I'm saying? Because I think of the cute, like he's small. He's got small hands and small. It adds to the cuteness and the chubbiness too, because it makes his arms relative to his hands, make his arms look chubby. If his hands were big, the arms wouldn't look chubby anymore, because everything is relative to him. Um, the ears look big relative to his body. Oh, and the last thing I think is the last note I have here is that the overall design is really great because it's familiar enough to be relatable. So you can say like, oh, he's a mouse rabbit type creature. I honestly, when I was a kid, I didn't put that together. I was like, oh, he's a Pikachu. Like I didn't think of him as being related to another animal. Like I just found out recently that Nidorans are like rabbits. I was like, yeah, I guess they are, but I never made that connection. I think subconsciously my mind accepted these creatures as feasible because they had something to do with reality, like real animals that I know. But at the time, I was just like, cool. So I think that's really that's what Pokemon, at least in the first generation, did really well. Is that they were just close enough. No, see, that makes sense. I don't think they were just close enough to the animals, like that you could feel like they were real, but they were far enough that I personally at least didn't make the association that, oh, this is that animal, this is that animal, is really obvious. So I think that's important to create when you're creating like a sci-fi creature or fantasy creature. Like it has to have enough familiarity that your audience can relate to it on some level, that they can feel like, oh, okay, I know what that is, or I can imagine what it would be like to be around that thing. If it's just too wild and crazy, then you're just like, all right, I guess it looks cool, but there's no emotional connection there. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Maybe I'll end up coloring this guy out and put him at the end. Maybe not. I guess you'll see in a moment. Yeah. So yeah, stay fantastic, everyone. God bless.